Hi everyone, today we're going to work on a Ginseng Ficus that was featured in a video a couple of years ago. Now a couple of years on, it's put a lot of good growth on, and we need to do a little bit of cleanup work on it, and we also need to repot it. We're going to go into a larger pot, same color, same shape as the old pot, but we want to give it some room to grow so that it can fill out a little bit and so that it can finish healing over the large pruning scar that we hit on the back of the tree here. Now it's done a pretty nice job of callousing over the scar so far, but it's still got a couple of years of work to do before it closes it up fully. So what we'll do is we'll just clean up the foliage a little bit, and we'll pull it out of this pot and do a soil change and put it in the new pot, and hopefully it'll be good for a couple more years after we finish doing all that work. The next thing we have to do is take the tree out of the old pot, and now we're going to see why I don't like to wire trees into pots if I can possibly avoid it. This is the wire that we had to put on this tree when we put it in this pot, and you can go back and watch the old video and see how we did that. And it was necessary to really encircle the tree in order to make it stable in the pot because it was coming out of a much smaller pot. So we're going to try to get all this wire out of here now. So let's rock the tree a little. Oh yeah, it comes out of the pot real easy. Now have a look at this. This thing's got a really nice fungus symbiote growing in the soil, which tells you that the tree is really healthy. This white stuff is the symbiotic fungus that helps the tree break down the nutrients in the soil. So we're definitely going to want to transfer some of that to the new pot. Let's just take it now and try to get a little of this off of here. There's a real nice piece right there, so we'll put that over there in the new pot, and a little more, and a little bit more. Now even where it's not visible as a white substance, it'll be present in microscopic proportions on the roots, so I'm not worried too much. Okay, there's some nice stuff there, and we'll add that. Now we'll try to clean up the root mass. Oh wow, look at this. This is definitely ready for repotting and definitely healthy. We got a big root here right on the surface that decided to take a lap around the pot. Now because this is a smaller tree, I can work on it this way. Just hold it in one hand, tease out the soil with the other, and use a small bonsai rake instead of a cultivator. But it's still a little bit heavy, so I'm going to rest it on the edge of my bucket here. Now I'm not going to bare root this tree because we're going to lose what structure we have in the root mass. Boy, that's a hard root to cut. Okay, let's get a concave cutter to take that one out. And even then it's a little stubborn. One problem with these roots is they're very fleshy. They're full of pulp, and it makes them hard to cut. Okay, let's take our new pot, place it on the turntable, take the tree now, and set it in there, and then just kind of take a look at where and how do we want it. Well, like I said, I really don't want to wire this one in this time if I can avoid it, because it makes getting it out later on so difficult, and it's really hard to disguise the wires if you want to show the tree. So take a sugar scoop full of my trusty old soil mix, and this is the tropical bonsai variant, which has a little bit more organic in it. And we'll just kind of go in here. And once it's in here, we'll see if it's going to be stable in this pot without wiring in. And if not, then I may run some very thin wire, which is why I have a coil of it here in the background. But like I said, I really don't want to do that if I can avoid it. Now, for those that are wondering what's in the soil, go check out the soil video. But the short answer is it's mostly decomposed granite, pumice, a little bit of builder's sand from the local hardware store, local home store, and the organic component is typically whatever organic soil I can find at the hardware store or home store. I try to get organic soil that is purely organic. In other words, typically made from composted steer manure and leaf mold and other such forest products. Okay, this is going to be somewhat stable, so I think we'll be okay with it. We now have the tree securely in the pot, and it turned out I did have to wire it in. It didn't have quite enough of a root base to stand securely enough for my purposes. I'm not so much worried about wind in this area as I am about the fact that we have a few feral cats that seem to like my yard, and sometimes they like to jump up on the bonsai benches and snuggle up next to the trees. So in the event that a local cat gets on the bench and decides to go after a mockingbird when it's up there and kicks into the tree and kicks it over, it won't get separated from the pot by such an event. So let's take our tree now and take it over to the water hose and water it, and then we'll do our 360 and show you the final result of today's exercise. Okay, the water's draining out the bottom now. We've got a little bit of residue coming through, but no fine stuff, which means we got a real good soil mix. And this should make for a very healthy tree. So here is our slightly restyled and repotted Ginseng Ficus. Give it another year or so, maybe it'll be ready to go on the bonsai show, and then we can show it to you folks in person. So here's our slow 360 to show what we've accomplished today. Thank you for watching, folks.